Hello and welcome everyone to the Super Rugby Podcast with your hosts, Damien Warren
and Toby Harris.
Mate, it's been 2 weeks. Explain yourself.
Well, school holidays, ski trip. What more can you ask for?
So are you trying to say that the Super Rugby Podcast listeners have had to wait 2 weeks because you have gone on holiday?
Unfortunately, yes. But hey, we're back and we're ready for another episode, aren't we?
Absolutely. And first up, we're going to review the Super Rugby clashes in the first 2 rounds of the competition, starting with what we thought was going to be a fantastic match with the Chiefs versus the Highlanders. Now, in our predictions, I thought the Chiefs were going to nudge it, and they didn't.
It was the opposite.
It was the opposite way around.
Yeah.
And in truth, the Highlanders have started very, very well this year.
Well, they've got 2 from 2, haven't they?
They've got 2 from 2,
Yeah.
and I think they're playing incredibly well.
They're playing as a team.
They're playing,
And they always have, though. That's the thing. Yeah, they haven't got any flashy players. Good players, obviously.
Absolutely.
The likes of Ben Smith, all that sort of jazz. And the boy who's come back.
Marty Banks,
Marty
mate.
Banks,
Marty
okay.
Banks a little bit. He came in early. Well, he came in earlier than expected for the second match against the Reds, which was another great win. I think for me, we talk about them playing as a team, and we talk about them not having a lot of superstars.
Yeah.
They do have very good players in certain key positions.
Oh, of course.
But for
Aaron
me,
Smith, halfback. Ben Smith, fullback. They've got that new boy, actually, at number 10, who's playing really well.
Ione, he's really, really impressed me. And with his kicking, and if you don't know my stance on New Zealand kicking by now, then it's not great. And he's a bit of a shining light there.
Yeah.
And to think, that's something that maybe we're going to bring up later, but to think that he's got massive shoes to fill and he just looks pretty comfortable there. To win 2 very close games back to back, very, very impressive. So for me, Highlanders, they are the best team at the moment. When I say team, playing as a team. So 2 from 2, impressive performances.
That's interesting because
midfield,
you're a bloody crusader.
I am a crusader through and through.
through.
But their midfield has impressed me as well. Again, no superstars there, but it was noticeable when they've gone off. They've just not managed.
They haven't had that oomph.
They haven't had that oomph. So the Reds in the second half, when they brought on Marty Banks, there was a noticeable drop off there, but they managed to keep it going until the end of the match, which was great. Then we're going to move on to the Crusaders and their first 2 games. And we really, really felt that the Crusaders Blues match was going to be a tight one. But the Crusaders would just win that, and they did. But man, it was a tight game.
Could have gone either way again.
Could have gone either way. A little bit of the story of the Blues, mate.
Wow. Is it same old?
I really hope it's not the same old. But we'll get over to the Blues in a minute. It was an impressive first up game. Could have gone either way, as you mentioned. Crusaders, I don't think they were lucky to win it, but I think that they did make life difficult at times. But in key moments, their quality shone through. Then they moved on to the Hurricanes. And can I just say, probably the best first half performance I've seen from them in a long time.
Oh, how good was that?
It was amazing. But as per normal, a little bit like what's crept into the All Blacks. Second half, too many changes.
And just taking the foot off the gas, I feel.
I think that definitely taking the foot off the gas. I think the Hurricanes massively helped us out by not starting
Oh, God, they didn't even turn up.
any All Blacks. If I'm wrong here.
Well,
What could I just say?
Massive
apology. Massive apology. Because who trotted out Tumunga Allen? And I said Tumunga Allen wasn't even in the country. So I apologise. I was sure, man, he was overseas from now, but you know better than me. But so really disappointing for the Hurricanes. They didn't really play very well at all.
No.
Then they kind of ship on their All Blacks. And I know that the NZRFU, they are putting this sort of time limit on the All Blacks playing, and I know it's difficult for the coaching staff to deal with that. And as a coach, I have done it before where I've thought, is it better to bring them on and start them? But I think that killed them, and it was by the time they brought the lads on, the Lamapes of the world.
Too little, too late.
It was too little, too late.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard for some players to get into games, and I think, TJ Perenara, although he comes on a lot for the All Blacks, and he made a real difference when he came on.
Different role though.
Different role for the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
And then for me, I'm going to look at the Chiefs, but I'm going to go their second match. You've got their first match, Tobes. So who'd they go first? Oh, yep, first up. Sorry, we've already spoken about was the Highlanders, mate, and that was a tight one. The Brumbies, that Brumbies match, the wow. I mean, you can either say the Brumbies were amazing, and we'll give them credit for that. They played very, very well as a team.
Did, yeah.
But I thought the Chiefs looked dangerous in the backs in the first 10 minutes. And then what happened? It looks like their defensive structures, it looks like they don't want to tackle.
They're just playing Ripper Rugby, mate.
Ripper Rugby. It's rocking back the years and playing.
Come on. You've got to make your tackles, don't you?
You've got to make your tackles in.
And they just didn't. They couldn't do it.
Well, that was pretty obvious. I mean, 54 points to 17, and really they looked undercooked.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's hard going overseas, but Australia, it's not that far.
It's not
it's just not an excuse. And I think the Blues have got an excuse.
The Blues got bloody wallop too, didn't they?
They did get. When I say they've got an excuse, they're not that big of an excuse. But I just feel that you knew I was worried about this year in New Zealand rugby and lack of depth. And I think, you add on to that, All Blacks aren't allowed to play.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting... We'll only know if that's the right call at the World Cup.
Well, that's right.
But getting smashed, the Chiefs getting smashed by an Australian team, the Blues getting walloped
by the South African
team.
Yeah.
It's not really what we wanted to see.
No.
And, obviously the Crusaders, the Hurricanes, even the Hurricanes, got thoroughly taken apart by the Crusaders in the first half.
Yeah.
Brought it back a little bit. It's not exactly, every commentary that I heard, it was this tough New Zealand conference. How can we say it's a tough New Zealand conference when our teams are going overseas and getting smashed?
And losing, yeah.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up about those matches were Plummer starting with the Crusaders match and then being stuck on the bench for their second match in South Africa.
Well, it was a complete swap, wasn't it? He just... I don't know. Did he play well? Did he not play well? What's Leon McDonald thinking?
Wonder if their rotation. Maybe Ottila Black wasn't fit first match. Maybe they felt like they had to play Plummer. But he played relatively well, and it was you're facing the last 2 years champions.
Yeah.
You play well, then you get dropped to the bench. Seems interesting. We're not in their camp.
No.
For obvious reasons. But
because you don't like the Blues.
And we're not ex-All Blacks. But it was seemed like an interesting choice for me.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. He, like you said, he didn't play badly, but I don't think he played out of his skin.
And he's
thought
Attila Black played very well.
Very well might be a bit of an overstatement.
But you were quietly hopeful.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was actually what we thought. We thought they were going to start with him week in, week out.
Because Plummer's a young bloke.
And he did very well for the NPC side, the Mitre 10 Cup, mate. The Mitre 10 Cup. Yeah.
Come on, get it right.
Come on, Mitre 10, you could sponsor us. But an interesting decision just to go for the Swapperoonie, even though we thought that they would go week in, week out.
Yeah.
And last up, the matches just to finish off. We've got the Hurricanes
versus the Waratahs.
Waratahs.
Now, this was a very close game, but they did get over the line, obviously. 19-20.
Yeah, I was a little bit...
I was quite surprised. I thought the Hurricanes were going to, get up for the first game and really go through them.
They are being disappointing without Bowden Barrett, they don't look nearly as dangerous as they should look. You look at that back line, and you mentioned to me how sort of excited you were about them, and they have done not a lot in the first 2 rounds.
Well, they are missing their All Blacks.
I know they're missing their All Blacks, but so are many other teams.
Yeah, true.
Even the Chiefs getting whooped by the Brumbies, they still look dangerous in the backs. That Hurricanes outfit should be dangerous. Yeah. And for some reason, they're not firing. Whether that's because Bowden, when he comes in, he offers a lot.
Yeah.
And he offers a lot to the players around him also, because obviously defences are having to deal with him.
Yeah.
Possibly they're not thinking about how they're dealing with others.
In all honesty, the Waratahs should have won. Foley had quite an easy kick.
Right in front.
Right in front. Quite a way out, but he had the distance and drags it left.
And he's a good kicker. He's a good kicker.
He's the top point scorer last year.
He is a top point scorer.
And the Waratahs have a very good back line too, don't they?
They do, but
it's full of Aussie players.
It is, and it's interesting that seem to be playing without any problems the first few rounds.
Yeah.
Without having to take them off and whatnot. But as I say, that's a massive debate. Is that the right thing to do? We will know when the World Cup rolls around, when we're fresh or we're undercooked.
Not enough rugby.
I'm sure there's a lot of rugby before the World Cup.
Yeah, there is a lot.
So I'm very, very pro resting the players. Not quite as pro at how stringent they've possibly had to implement that.
Well, the last time we did that rest and rotation was 2007, wasn't it? And we all know how that went.
We all know
spuds, mate.
We all know how it went, and we all don't want to remember how it went.
No, sorry, I brought that up.
I mean, the French and that. Do we
want
to go back there? I'm going to go back there for a little bit.
We don't want to go back there.
We need to go back there because it was painful. The French played out of their skins. They played out of their skins, and I think people forget that. Yes, we didn't have Plan B in that game. We really didn't have Plan B, but the French, and as they can do, and only the French can do, they can play out of their skins sometimes. It's very difficult to stop them. The fact that Dan Carter got injured in that game.
Hey, we're going off topic here.
I know we are, but it's worth going off topic.
No. Round 2. We're going back to round 2, mate.
We'll go back to round 2.
Round 2.
He missed the kick anyway. He missed the kick. Easy kick. And I quite liked how he was upset with himself about that. As a Kiwi.
Why wouldn't you, though?
As a Kiwi seeing an Aussie in pain. There's something nice about that. I would say I don't mind.
I quite like Foley. He's got some great
Foley.
facial hair.
I actually don't mind the Waratahs.
Yeah.
I like how they play. The Brumbies were impressive. Well, the Aussie teams are looking good, and I think the Aussie teams now that they've trimmed down their teams to 4.
There's so much more competition within that Australian conference.
I think actually
brilliant.
There's competition in coaching staff as well.
Yeah,
I think that's also important. So the teams look better prepared.
Yeah,
better resourced.
Well drilled, don't they?
Well drilled. They're looking good.
Yeah,
pains me to say it, but they're looking good. So in the round 1 and round 2. Who are your players who you have been most impressed by?
Well, for the Blues, Akida Ione. He's been playing very, very strong, running hard and direct, but
he was someone that
his hands are just like backs. Honestly, he was in that 7 setup, and his pace, fitness, and his hands have really, really improved.
He was someone that I thought was going to sort of make it through to the All Blacks last year.
Well, he was in the squad.
I know he was in the squad. He didn't play a lot.
No. I would have hoped to have seen him actually play for the All Blacks.
I think Kieran Reid, obviously being captain, it becomes more difficult. I think he deserves his chance, and maybe he'll get his chance after the World Cup.
Yeah, maybe.
But he's definitely right in there for me.
Yeah. Augustine Polo has been giving really good ball from the base of the ruck, and he has been giving good ball, but then it hasn't been turned into anything.
He did make a huge error, though. He made a huge error going blind against the Crusaders, and arguably losing the match. Young guy, but he had a great opportunity and he went blind, he got tackled out. For me, that's
just experience though, isn't it?
But what it was, it showed me he's not quite ready yet.
No, okay.
You think I'm being harsh, eh? One mistake, you're out. Probably very
See
true.
you later.
Very true. It just showed me under pressure.
Yeah.
Would I have him in my All Blacks team? And my answer would be not quite yet.
Oh no, definitely not.
But
no,
he's been in there. He's been in there.
Yeah, I don't know why either. He's not an All Black.
Well, he is. He's played. He's put it on, mate. He's put the jumper on, hasn't he?
Also, the Nonu.
Mate, once an All Black, always an All Black. Are you an All Black? No. Am I an All Black? No.
Definitely
is he an
not
All...
you, mate.
Is he an All Black?
Yes.
You're damn right he is.
Nonu Sonny Bill Williams. They had Sonny Bill at 12. They had Nonu at 13. Was it a good combination? Not sure. It worked okay at the time, and then Nonu out for the next game.
For me, Nonu's a 12.
Every day of the
Sonny
week.
Bill's. I know people will say Sonny Bill's not a 13. He's not a 12, Sonny Bill.
No.
He's not a 12. He is more of a 13 than a 12. I think they try and use Sonny Bill as a crash man.
Yeah.
He's not a crash man.
He's not a crash man.
He's way too tall to be a crash man. You want low centre of gravity.
Yeah.
You want
gravity.
Gravity, mate. Gravity.
Gravity.
you want a wrecking ball in there.
Yeah, you do.
Nonu, very effective at that area of the
I thought
game.
he played well in the first game.
He did, but 13. He doesn't have the wheels of an out-and-out 13.
No.
So therefore, for me, you've got to play him at 12. And I think they're going to have that problem this year if they try and play Sonny Bill at 12, because that's where the All Blacks want him to play. And then Ma Nonu at 13, because he's not a 13. I know he can play there. I know he'll do a good enough job, but he's not really a 13.
No, I agree. What about your picks, mate? What about your players?
This might surprise you, but I'm the Chiefs.
You got Brad Webb, have you?
Well, no, Brad Webb, mate. He's been ripping it up out there, mate. He's been ripping it up. He has impressed me, actually, but I'm not going to put him on my top. The Chiefs have been struggling, but there's been a couple of players who have impressed me. Anton Leonard-Brown has been very, very good. He's
maturing, isn't he, as well?
He is maturing, yeah. Definitely maturing as a player. And the other one's Sean Stevenson, young guy, and they liken him to the excitement machine at fullback. He is an exciting player. He's young. He's got great feet. He seems like he kicks well. He's one to watch for the future. The other ones, Highlanders, we've already mentioned it, but Josh Ione really impressed me first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Good kicking, good distribution, making good decisions. And that midfield of Tompkinson and Thompson, 2 guys I don't know much about.
Well, that's a good thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and
they're just flying under the radar, but they're doing the basics right, and they're actually playing some really good rugby.
Playing smart rugby, which I like. The last ones for me, for the Crusaders, Matt Todd. Matt Todd, if Sam Cane's not fit, has to be your out-and-out starting 7. He's been fantastic. And do you know why I think that? You may not want to know because he's a Crusader, but he's been doing this for years. He's not going to come in and be fly-by-night. He's going to come in and do what he does every match. Very similar performance stats to a guy like Richie McCaw, who didn't have good games and bad games, just had Richie McCaw games. Matt Todd doesn't have good games and bad games. He just plays Matt Todd games. Loving it. And, mate, Bryn Hall, great season last year and has really helped the Crusaders to get good quality, quick ball out to those backs. And
should he be an All Black?
For me, absolutely. But I know I'm...
Really?
For me, I know I'm
biased.
I know I'm...
For God's sake. We're going to move on swiftly.
No, you've asked a very good question. Should he be an All Black? Arguably should have been an All Black last year and wasn't. I'm going to say if he has another good year this year, and I think there has to be space for new guys coming into the All Blacks, I'm going to say, Bryn Hall, keep going, son, and I'll vote for you on X Factor.
He'll be listening, mate, so he'll take that with a bloody pinch of salt, eh?
He will, mate. You've got my backing anyway.
Hurricanes. Ben Lamb.
Hey,
we talked about him this week, didn't we?
Ben Lamb and his fend.
Oh.
Now, I don't know whether the listeners out there fully appreciate. Let's say a normal fend is palm.
It's a stiff arm, isn't it?
Right? Get rid of them.
Yeah.
Ben Lamb, no.
No,
Ben Lamb drops the arm down to make his legs even more difficult to tackle.
I know.
And those thunder thighs of his,
Oh my God.
they are impressive.
He's rapid, eh?
He is
Far
rapido.
out.
And really good good tries on the weekend.
Yeah.
Good runs.
Yeah.
He was very quiet first half.
He looks balanced.
He looks balanced. He looks strong. And he looks like he's got a lot more tries in him as well. He looks like he's going to have another absolute sterling season.
My last man for the Hurricanes, Ari Savea.
Didn't play, obviously injured from week 2. Didn't play. Maybe he was rested. I'm not quite sure about that one. But yeah, he played very well first game.
First game, the thing that I really like about him is that he'll put his head down and he'll just keep driving.
Question for you though.
He'll make contact and then he'll somehow carry on. Make
Okay,
meters
so
and make meters.
you're picking the All Blacks and you're choosing between Matt Todd to start.
You'd go Matt Todd to start.
Why
and
though?
bring Arnie Savea in.
Arnie Savea, you've mentioned, great play. He starts for the Hurricanes.
Yes.
So why are you then saying that he shouldn't be starting for the ABs?
Because he's exciting when he comes on, and he has been in that 7 setup before, and he brings on something fresh, doesn't he? He brings
does.
on a bit of excitement.
For
a bit
me,
of zip.
If the All Blacks, hopefully, fingers crossed, are going to do well at the World Cup,
And toes crossed.
toes crossed and every other part of my body
Every
crossed.
hair on my body has to be crossed.
But if they want to do well, they need to get back to having the super subs they had at the last couple of World Cups, where the guys that they bring on aren't actually
Any worse.
Yeah, they're just different.
Yeah.
So guys like Lamape
Yeah.
has to be on your bench. You bring him on. He offers something different. It's a little bit like Sonny Bill used to come on and offer something different. You need Lamape to do that role. Other guys in that super sub, Eric, could be Bryn Hall. Bring in Bryn Hall on.
Yeah.
Something different. Runs more. I know TJ Perenara fans out there will be saying, well, TJ does, and he does do that,
Yeah.
TJ. For me, he just has had some questionable. Last year, I thought he was a bit questionable when he came on for the ABs. We need to get back to having the super subs like Waisaki Naholo coming on changes the game. I love that. Ben Lamb coming on changes the game. So it's not necessarily you're not taking off people and bringing on the second best. You're taking off people and bringing on someone that's just different. Damien McKenzie at fullback, super sub, excellent.
He's been playing well too, actually.
Yeah, but they're playing him at 10.
Yeah, why? Who? Yeah, okay, touchy subject, hey?
It is a touch because he's not a 10.
Why don't they play Beaver, mate? Why do they not?
He
bring
came on
Beaver?
though, didn't he?
He did.
He came on, and I tell you what, he's a silver fox now, isn't he? He's a silver fox.
Hey, since they've made that movie about him,
It's gone to his
got
head, hasn't it?
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's gone to his
Definitely.
head.
I'm sure he's got bloody hair dye in there, eh?
Maybe he's been dyeing it for years, and it's eventually come through. But I couldn't believe it. I've seen him play for the NPC sides, the Mighty 10 Cup sides, and he had a full head of black hair, and now it's just grey.
He's getting old, mate.
He's getting old. Maybe this might be his last year.
Well, I mean, we said that a few years ago, didn't we? 2011 World Cup.
I tell you what, though, before I felt really sorry for him. In that year he played against the Aussies.
Oh, he hadn't. That was in Singapore.
He didn't have a bad game.
It was that one kick.
He didn't kick the ball out. And actually, I feel that was tough on him because they should have rolled that up. They only had about a minute to go.
Yeah.
And they didn't. Well, it might have even been less than that. And he kicked it. Didn't kick it out.
And they scored.
They scored, and well, the rest is history. Let's just not talk about it. But anyway, I found he was really, really hard done by.
Yeah.
And then, maybe the rugby gods came back and said, you're hard done by, we'll give you another chance. And now he's absolute legend and always will be.
No questions.
Moving on next, we're going to move on to a massive news story. Well, I think it's a massive news story, which is Ronan O'Gara.
Yes, I read that.
Ronan O'Gara saying that he would not, what am I trying to say? He would not count out possibly working for the All Blacks. And as soon as we heard that, there's nothing against Ronan O'Gara. No. I don't know enough about him. I know he's an absolute... Ronan O'Gara is so keen on rugby. I know we're keen on rugby, but this guy is an absolute student of the game. And as soon as he finished playing, he was in coaching.
Yeah.
He's moved to New Zealand to improve his coaching.
He's moved his whole family,
He's moved his whole family. Yeah. So he must be pretty damn good. Dan Carter was being coached by him overseas and recommended him for the job.
Was that with Russing?
That was with
Daniel Carter's gone back there, you know.
He's gone back there, yeah. So he sort of recommended him. So
Tuialangi has also gone to Russing.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Tuialangi, that's a blast from the past.
Anyway,
isn't it?
carry on. Mate.
Carry on. So he must be pretty handy. You know, I'm not to be recommended by Dan Carter to go back there and do that. He must be pretty handy. So my question to you is, how would you feel about a non-New Zealander coaching our national side? And now I know it currently happens with the Sevens outfit. Laidlaw is coaching the Sevens, which is interesting. But this is going a step further to have a non-New Zealander coaching our national team 15 aside.
The thing is that we always, well, we don't boast, but we talk about the likes of Warren Gatlin, coaching Wales. There was who was the boy who was coaching Italy? We had one in Scotland as well, didn't we?
Oh, we had Fern Cotton, who was fantastic for Scotland.
Yeah, there you go.
And great story with him and Schmidt. Apparently, podcast listeners, if you haven't heard the story, if you have heard the story, I apologise, but this is a great one. Apparently, Schmidt went to a school and he didn't really want to coach rugby. He wanted to coach basketball. They didn't have a basketball team, so he decided to take rugby coaching up. Right. And he did a great job. Before he knew it, he was coaching the first 15. And he was doing some really good things with the first 15, as you could well imagine, being the coach that he is. And Fern Cotter at the time was the Mitre 10 Cup coach in his area. And I think that was Waikato. And he heard about the good things that he was doing for his school side. He came down, he used to watch them on a weekly basis, and he said, wow, this guy's awesome, and gave him as an assistant coaching job with the is it Counties Manukau or the Waikato team. And then when he moved overseas, he took him with him. So Fern Goner and Joe Smith, absolute legendary coaches for me, lost to New Zealand. I really, really hope they come back and become either All Blacks coaches or Super Rugby coaches in the future.
Damien, that is a great story. I'm really glad you've told all of us that.
And the 2 minutes it took to say it, mate, as well.
So the thing is, though...
Do you know why I like that story so much?
God, you're going to tell us again next week, eh?
I like the story so much because he was a teacher, mate. He was a teacher, and what do we do for a living? Arguably for a living. So it gives us hope.
We're getting off subject, mate. Okay, going back.
Graham Henry also was a teacher, mate. He was a teacher as well.
He also coached for Wales.
Actually, Warren Gatlin was a teacher. Did you know that? He was a primary school teacher. Imagine Warren Gatlin being your primary school teacher. I wouldn't do anything wrong.
You couldn't do anything wrong, mate. Even if you bloody tried. But we're going off subject here, pal. So a foreigner coming in and coaching the All Blacks. It's a tough question, but I would like to see New Zealand keep a Kiwi as an All Blacks coach.
Okay, so he's not saying he's kind of alluded to the fact that he feels after World Cup.
Or you think assistant coach?
Yeah, he feels that after World Cup, there's going to be a change in coach. That's been out there.
Yeah.
So Steve Hansen said, after World Cup, he's stepping down. He feels that unless some other big coach comes into the fray, it should be Razor.
It should
be. Potentially, if he could, pull off 3 Super Rugby crowns. He was very, very good for the Mitre 10 Cup side when he coached it.
Yeah.
He's got, barring the only, not black mark against his name, but they didn't do that well when he coached the 21 New Zealand side, Razor. But, let's be honest to that. He is a great coach.
Yeah.
He's a great coach. Arguably, if he gets the job, Ronan Nagara is saying, I'd happily work for that guy.
I'd happily come in. But also, the thing is, Smith's leaving at the end of the year, isn't he?
A lot of them are. So you've got Smith leaving, you've got Warren Gatland leaving, you've got Steve Hansen leaving, you've got Eddie Jones leaving.
Is Steady Eddie leaving?
Steady Eddie. They are actually saying, potentially, Warren Gatland to take over that role as well, which would be massive for the Welsh.
Gosh.
But you've got to remember, he did coach Ireland. And that's something that a lot of people won't know. Warren Gatland coached Ireland before he coached Wales.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go. In fact, he went from Ireland to Wasps to Wales.
You're a bloody fountain of knowledge, aren't you?
Mate, well, if you're doing your own podcast, you should be. So for me, I would really struggle to think. I don't have a real issue with an assistant coach.
No, I agree.
And I think, let's be fair to Ronan O'Gara. He's moved his family here. He's moved his family to New Zealand. We're actually currently based in the UK, but always welcome to free flights back. But he's brought his family over.
Yeah. He's fully immersed himself,
He is fully immersed himself. And he's, a lot of people thought that he might have done 1 year and then come back to Ireland. He hasn't done that. So to be fair to him, anyone that wants to bring their family to New Zealand and make a lot, then they're a Kiwi in my book.
Yeah, I agree.
They're a Kiwi in my book. So, but for me, it's not like he's currently coaching overseas and then he's being parachuted in like a lot of New Zealand coaches have done overseas. Okay, enough of that, mate. Enough of that. Let's move into this week's Super Rugby Round 3 predictions.
Hurricanes versus the Brumbies. Brumbies at home. Brumbies looking pretty good. 2 wins from 2.
This one for me all depends on whether Beauden Barrett plays. If Beauden Barrett plays, I'm going to say Hurricanes. That's a massive call, I know.
It is a big call.
Interesting, I mentioned that. I think being at home is worth 5 points. You look at some of the matches that have taken place, and some of the home teams have just nipped it.
Yeah.
There's some exceptions to that example, but
Highlanders away.
Highlanders away. But what I'm trying to say is I think it is worth 5 points.
Yeah.
So are the Hurricanes 5 points or more better than the Brumbies? And my answer would be no without Beauden Barrett.
Yes with Beauden
Barrett. Yes with him.
I'm going to go Brumbies win it. Sorry, but I'm going to go Brumbies win it because they've just been looking pretty good. They've been scoring tries and
kicking well as well.
They're at home.
Kicking well and they're at home.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly an easy place to get to as well.
Rebels, Highlanders. Rebels at home.
Highlanders for me.
Highlanders
I would be surprised if the Highlanders didn't win that. The reason for this is purely down to the fact that they've been playing really, really well as a team that we alluded to earlier. I can't see any reason why that wouldn't continue. I know they're away, but it's not that far. They're not like they're going to South Africa. So I'm going to say Highlanders for me, 100%.
Okay, fine. I agree.
You agree?
I agree with that. Easy and simple, eh? Chiefs versus Sunwolves. Chiefs at home, mate.
I would love to say Chiefs here. Sunwolves, what a game. What a game. Just losing to the Waratahs. I'm going to say the Chiefs, and I think they'll bounce back on this. I think they've got enough firepower to, especially being at home. Firepower. I think they've got enough firepower to get over the Sunwolves, although I'm very impressed with Sunwolves. But I think, will the Sunwolves back up 2 really good performances in a row? And I don't think they can.
I would like to see them beat the Chiefs, but I just don't think they will. Reds Crusaders at Suncorp Stadium.
Crusaders have already gone away, beaten the Blues away from home. I know it's in Australia. There's a lot of young guys in that team. I don't think travelling is a massive issue for that Crusader side. There's a lot of young guys. There's not that many guys with wives and kids. So therefore, I'm going to say I don't think going to Australia is going to be an issue. I think going to South Africa for the Crusaders on a tough turnaround might be difficult. But I'm going to say they're going to win on Saturday. No, I'm biased, but I'm sure you'll back me up on that.
I will back you up. Yeah, I think the Crusaders just have a bit too much firepower in the locker.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I just go back to the Brumbies? They haven't won 2 from 2.
They haven't won 2
They
from 2.
lost their first game, and that was actually against the Reds.
Interesting. They look so good against the Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs were so bad in their defence, but they look so good.
Yeah.
So, let's move on.
Lions versus the Bulls.
Lions lost, Lions lost on the weekend. I was surprised by that. It was a very, very tight game. I'm going to go Lions.
You're going to go Lions?
I'm going to go Lions.
Well,
I just can't see them losing 2 in a row.
The Bulls lost to the Jaguares.
Yep. So they're on. Wow, who's more likely to lose 2 in a row? And I'm going to say the Bulls are more likely to lose 2 in a row than.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine. Agreed. Then we have got the Sharks versus the Stormers.
No idea about this one. Haven't seen the Stormers play this year. I'm going to go the Sharks just because I like the name the Sharks. Hey.
That's so village. You are village.
Absolutely.
No, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have to go the Sharks too.
You know Sharks as well.
I'm going to go Sharks as well. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Now we've got the Jaguares versus the Blues.
Please.
And it's in Argentina.
Please the Blues. Please the Blues. The Blues, if they lose, and this is going to sound really cheesy, and it is, they're going to give me the Blues.
Oh.
We were so hopeful about the Blues at the start of this year. They've got a really good squad to choose from. They do lack a little bit at 10. I know that they're young.
It's frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
It's frustrating. Because I really want us to do well.
Well, we did also say the Jaguares were our team.
No, you didn't.
No, I said they're coming back. They've got all their players from overseas. It's World Cup year. They'll have crowds at home. I said all that. You just forget that, and then you want to take credit for it. But I really hope the Blues, because if they lose 3 in a row, it will be the same old.
It will.
And I'm not sure whether they'll pick themselves up, dust themselves off. They need to win.
It's a long old haul out there, though, isn't it?
It is a long old haul, but I just have a feeling in my bones that they're going to be desperate to win. And if they win away from home,
could kickstart,
could kickstart the rest of their season, because they've got quite a few home games coming up as well, which... Is it a big advantage for them? Often the Auckland crowds don't come in, but they came in. It's quite a decent crowd for the Crusaders game.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. If they start winning, they're probably going to come in a bit more.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that all the games?
That's all the games, mate.
So next up, ladies and gentlemen, the bit that you all look forward to every week. It is time for the quiz.
Mate, do you think ladies actually listen to this? This would be. Mate,
I'm surprised
hey,
anyone listens to this.
All the ladies out there, hey, all the ladies, give us an email in and see.
See?
Oh, bugger. Don't see, mate. Just write in.
You write us in. It's the Super Rugby Podcast at gmail.com. We've got a few emails coming in from the faithful Super Rugby Podcast listeners that we're going to go over in a minute. But it's time for the quiz.
It is.
So we're going to go 3 questions this week rather than 5, because a few people wrote in saying, too long, mate, too long.
I tell you what, I wasn't very good, was I?
You were actually cash. So anyway, we'll go round 1. Toby, you'll start, and then I will take over from that.
Righto. First question, Damien. Who is at the top of the overall Super Rugby standings?
Right.
Is it the Highlanders?
What do you mean, overall Super Rugby standings? You have to...
Overall, mate. Who was at the overall top?
What, points?
Points.
As in wins and stuff?
Points.
Right, okay, go on.
Yeah? You're making this bloody difficult.
Yeah, right. Well, I need to know the question.
Highlanders, Crusaders, Brumbies, Sharks, or the Bulls?
Mate, it's A, B, C or D. You can't go E in there, can you?
Oh, well, I've done it, mate. Just tell me.
The overall standings. Now, the Crusaders did not get a bonus point the other day. Or did they? Jeez, this is a tough one, isn't it? So, I'm gonna go... Oh, this hurts me. I think I'm
Should have
wrong.
gone with your gut, mate.
I don't think they've gone... Have they? Don't think they've got either bonus point. I don't think...
It's okay, mate.
So
We've
go,
got
what are
plenty
the
of time.
options? A?
Highlanders, Crusaders, Brumbies, Sharks, or Bulls?
Could be the Sharks. Could be the Sharks. Oh, God. I'm going to go Sharks.
Oh, you're correct.
Yes! Come on, bad boy.
10 points.
No, 10 points, yeah. No bonus points for those other teams. So that was... I'm glad because I was unsure about that. Right, okay. Let's go for Ben Lamb. We love Ben Lamb at the Super Rugby Podcast.
We do.
Ben Lamb. How many tries has Ben Lamb scored so far this year?
2.
A, 1. B, 2. C, 3.
2.
Or D, 4.
It's 2.
Now, he scored 2 the other day. So, are you sure you want to go with 2?
I'm going 2.
Oh, you're such a loser. You are correct.
Oh my God. This week has started off well, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
well, there's some tougher questions to come.
Okay. Who has the worst points difference so far? Is it the Sunwolves, the Bulls, the Reds, the Chiefs,
Are you going more again?
or the Stormers? I'm only going 5.
You need to go 4.
No, I'm going 5 now. I'm trying to spanner in the works.
Oh, God. Let's go through them again. This is why it takes so long for me.
Sunwolves.
This is why people are emailing in saying this is taking too long because of questions like this. Go on. Some Wolves, I'm going to say no. I don't think so.
Okay.
Tight.
Bulls.
I just don't know the Bulls games.
Oh, sorry, the Blues.
The Blues. Ooh.
Apologise. Reds,
Yeah.
Chiefs, or the Stormers?
Well, I don't think it can be... God, this is an awful question. I hate you so much. I don't think it can be the Blues. They didn't have a great one. The Chiefs have got absolutely... They lost the first game and then they got absolutely smashed. I just don't know enough about the other games. Of course, it's going to be all the South African teams or whatever. So for me, it's out of the Chiefs and who else?
There's the Stormers that aren't very good. The Sunwolves, the Reds, the Blues.
I'm going to say Chiefs.
You're correct.
Yes,
Come
on.
Now, it's quite close though. 40. The Sunwolves are on minus 36 and the Stormers are on minus 35.
That was a tough one. So hopefully
You're
I can...
not... You're
repay
guessing,
you.
mate. You're guessing.
I'm not guessing. It's educated guesses.
Awful.
Right. Foley.
Yes.
In the 30-31 win they had over the Sunwolves, how many kicks did Foley get over? A, 2, B, 4, C, 5, or D, 6? 31 points to 30. How many kicks did he get over?
5.
Incorrect. You'll be amazed by this, hence why it's the question 2.
Only 2.
2 kicks he got over.
Wow.
So, bit of a shady start to his season. Bit of a shady start to his season.
He's normally a very good kicker, isn't he?
Normally a fantastic kicker. So
Okay, so
it's 2-1.
it's 2-1 to you.
So I can't actually lose.
No, you can't lose.
So that would take it to at least 1-0 to me over the first 2 weeks because you had a week off skiing.
Yeah, bloody good week too. Who has the most clean breaks?
Oh,
Which team has the most?
Are you going to give me 5 teams?
No,
again?
I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you 4, man. I'm going to give you 4. So which team has the most clean breaks?
Yeah.
The Brumbies, the Waratahs, the Highlanders, or the Crusaders?
Now, the Brumbies lost their first game, so I'm going to say, although they had an absolute stormer, didn't they? So the Brumbies, who is it again? Brumbies?
The Brumbies, the Waratahs, the Highlanders, and the Crusaders.
Waratahs, the Highlanders, or the Crusaders. Okay, so I'm going to say no to the Highlanders. I can count them out. The Waratahs, clean breaks. They're going to be good with clean breaks as well. The Brumbies, I think that's a fly in the ointment.
I need to add in the 5th one.
No.
Sharks.
Well, I'm kind of hoping the Sharks are correct. because I'm going to say... I'm going to say the Sharks thing because
you'd be wrong.
No, I'm not going to say Sharks.
You'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. Mate, you see that? Okay.
You can't do that. You can't introduce them in and then say they're not.
Hey.
So now I know that it's not the Sharks. I'm now going to say, for me...
You're a bloody sore loser, eh?
I don't think it's the Crusaders. Brumbies, I think you've thrown that in there because, they had a real good one. So I'm going to say it's out of the Waratahs and the Crusaders. I don't think they've made... have they made good clean breaks? I think they have. I'm going to go and say the... Crusader... Waratahs.
Wrong.
Oh, man, it's the Crusaders.
It's the Highlanders.
Is it the Highlanders?
Yeah, it's the Highlanders.
Clean breaks.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
You ruled them out from the bloody start.
I did. I've seen them play and they just didn't seem like they're making that many clean breaks. There you go.
There you go, yeah.
Right, last one, mate. Who in the Crusaders versus Hurricanes match carried the most yards?
Oh, God.
You don't have to tell me the actual yards.
Okay.
It's out of A, Ben Lamb, B, Geordie Barrett, C, Bridge, my man Bridge,
Yeah.
or D, Mata Ali.
Oh.
Good player.
How
We didn't
about
mention
that offload.
Yeah. What about that offload? Do you know when I saw it, I was like, he's out.
Yeah.
I was saying to my wife, don't. It says he's going to come back for that. The referee's going to come back for that. And he didn't because it wasn't out. I was amazed when they said it was clear.
They did come back, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Ben Lamb ran well, scored 2 tries. Mataele played and ran well. I don't think Geordie Barrett. And then George Bridge scored that good try, didn't he?
And what about the one that he chipped down as well? He had a few really good moments again.
Yeah, he's playing well. I think it might be Mataele.
Are you going to go for Mata Ali?
Yes.
You are correct. It is Mata Ali. And I have to say, 86 carrying yards. Wait for this. George Bridge, 84. Geordie Barrett, 54. And
Right.
can I just say, remember that awful try? Awful try. Can I just say again, awful try that the Springboks scored from the line out?
Oh my God.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I
Don't
watched
think
that recently.
That is burned into my brain.
Oh.
There was another episode like that on Saturday where he literally smashed it into, I don't know whose hands. it really made me think, please, let's not.
Typical.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
So well done. It's 2-2, mate. It's 2-2 this week. So I'm still leading 1 or 2-1. Let's say 2-1.
We should really in the future have a tie break.
We should, but we don't, which is not a bad thing. Next up, we're going to go to the emails that we've had in. Some quite humorous emails, but some good serious questions that they want us to answer.
Okay.
So first up is an email from David Pocock, believe it or not, and
Big D.
And it's all, and he's actually, this David Pocock, believe it or not, is from Auckland.
Oh, he's not the rugby player, David Pocock.
Well, if it is,
he's in Auckland now.
But apparently, David Pocock also resides in Auckland. And he's asked us, and I'm guessing he's talking about this particular tackle, high tackle, red card. What do we feel about the high tackle, which will lead to the red card? And I think he's talking about the Highlanders versus Chiefs match. How do we feel about that? So just to run you through, quite late on in that game, there was a tackle that was made. I think it was made by Tompkinson or Thompson in the midfield, where the referees sent him off for direct contact to the head.
Wow.
And we've seen this before, obviously, the Sonny Bill Williams.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
That was a red card. I think we can all move on from that one. This was a bit different. So there was arms being used, but it kind of looked like possibly definitely the head has made contact with the shoulder first.
Right.
And he hasn't been able to wrap his arms round.
Okay.
It was one of those tackles. So how do we feel about that red card for these high tackles, and this one in particular?
I have the theory of no cards. If something happens like that, if something happens like that, it should be put, like the league used to do. They used to be put on report.
Yes.
And then after the game, then they're dealt with.
Hang on. So if you're saying that potentially that player, if it is a really bad incident, plays the rest of the game.
Yes.
Oh, mate, I'm not with you on that. I like the idea of put it on report.
Put it on report, but if it's a punch or something like that, let me finish. If it's a proper red card, then obviously give it to them. Yeah, but put them on report. Let them suffer after the game.
Yeah, but listen, the technology's there.
I don't want to bloody listen to you.
Technology's there. They should be. They don't need a report after the game when they've got the technology to say, let's have a look at it now. I think the problem was we were all looking at it at home saying, that guy's made an effort to wrap his arms.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the referees and the assistant referees were saying that was direct contact to the head with force, red card.
Well, I still get away with the cards.
Go away with the cards and put them on report.
Yeah.
But then you can think, right, let's go and put this in final. Super Rugby final. You're saying no cards, put them on report. Then they go on, like 15 of them go and head-eye tackle all the players, and they go through the game and happy days. They're all put in report. They missed the first game back.
You're blowing it out of proportion.
I'm putting a point out there for you.
Well, then they missed the whole of next season.
Oh, here we go. So suspending them for quite a long period of time.
Obviously not the whole season, depending on how bad it is, but
been really tough.
Decent, really tough. And maybe even fining them as well.
Oof. Putting them in the pocket. No one likes putting them in the pocket.
No. God, no.
Mate, next one. You're going to love this. We got two.
Oh, how's your father?
How's your father? So, long-haired rugby players.
Oh.
So this is, I think this is quite ironic. This comes from Tony Valencia from Rome.
No.
Maybe he's a long-haired rugby player himself. What are our thoughts on a long-haired rugby players?
You'd think they're bloody hard bastards, wouldn't you? Chabal. Frenchman. Chabal.
I've never been a fan of long-haired rugby players.
It's because you've got none yourself, mate.
Yeah, I am a little bit follically challenged up top. Maybe
Follically?
I think you've got to... It's a bit like boots, mate. if you've got those fancy dancy white boots with a big, you wear those boots.
I don't.
You're that type of guy.
I do not.
Me, when the All Blacks went full black.
Oh,
right, loved it.
Marvellous.
Loved it. Now, I say this, I'm not a big fan of long-haired rugby players, but then I look at Ma Nonu, exception to the rule. Shabal, exception to the rule. I'm thinking more along the lines of, remember that advert, maybe I'll show my age here, you can tell a woman by the way she wears her hair, mate. And that type of kind of do. The South African scrum half do.
Oh.
I'm saying no.
He's not a bad player though.
He's not a bad player. And Percy Montgomery, long hair, I'm saying no.
Percy.
I'm saying Ma Nonu. I'm saying Shabal. I'm saying bring it on. And I'm just jealous that I can't grow my hair as wild as that. What's your take on it, mate?
Well, as long as they keep it under control. I tell you, I really like the honey badger.
Oh, the honey badger.
He's a bloody cult hero. Also, the barracuda.
The barracuda.
Islanders got long hair.
Do you know what? If Highlanders substitute 10, Marty Banks, if his hair was straight, she'd be long, she'd be waving.
She'd be lush. He wouldn't be a rugby player. He'd be a shampoo model, wouldn't he?
He'd be a shampoo. He'd be well a woman, mate. He'd be well a woman.
Hey, maybe she's Maybelline.
Maybe he's Maybelline. So I think we're open to long hair rugby players as long as it's dealt with in a sensible,
in an orderly fashion,
and sort of as they're running, it's not
too
sort of
flashy.
Not too flashy. Not too flashy. And if they're an exceptional rugby player, they can do what they want.
They can do what the hell they want.
Anyway, guys, it's been a real pleasure to be with you yet again, giving you all your Super Rugby needs. Remember, if you want to get hold of us, very, very simple. Get on the old internet, type in the Super Rugby Podcast @gmail.com. Drop us a line with your question you'd like us to answer.
We'd love to hear from you, even if it's just, hey fellas, what you up to?
Not a lot. Not a lot.
No.
Anyway. We'll be here next week. We're going to be weekly rather than 2 weekly because you can't afford ski holidays every week, can you?
Definitely not.
All right, guys. Thanks very much.
See you later.
I'll see you back next week.